All right. Next up on Atlanta Business Radio this morning, we have life coach, entrepreneur, public speaker, and chief executive officer with Sleep is for Suckers. That seems like kind of a thought-provoking caption there. Please join me in welcoming to the broadcast Mr. David Shands. Good morning, sir.
Good morning. Did he have the claps? Do you have the claps? No, don't worry about it. Fine.
Oh, you don't have the
I was waiting on the
applause
claps.
ready?
Sorry about that.
Good morning.
Good morning. So, what was your experience at Harvard like? Much like mine?
I seen it on TV. You know, it looked cool. Actually, I didn't get all the way through college. I dropped out 3 times, 3 different schools. I just couldn't get it together. I don't know what it was.
I understand. Well, I was one of the better ping pong players at Pensacola Junior College, so I can put that on my resume. But beyond that, my academic resume doesn't look too sharp either. But it seems like you're accomplishing a lot, having a lot of good fun. What are you out there doing for folks?
Well, I teach entrepreneurship. That is my passion. I used to work at the Cheesecake Factory. I was there for 6 years. And 3.5 years into it, I started this company called Sleep is for Suckers. Let me tell a story. I tell a lot of stories. So this young lady, we were at the bread station, cutting bread from my table, and she said, "Hey, your birthday's coming up. What are we going to do for your birthday?" I said, "I don't know." She said, "Let's go back to the same place we went last year. Everybody came out from the job. We hung out, had a good time." I said, "Cool, no problem." She's like, "Okay, cool. I'll go tell everybody." And you ever seen a TV show where like the lights get dim and it's like a spotlight on the one person and then the soft music plays? All that went down in my head. And I had this reflective moment because I was thinking about it. I said, wow, I'm going to celebrate my birthday at the same place I celebrated at last year with the same people I celebrated with last year. Nothing wrong with celebrating your birthday at the same place with the same people, but I was working at the same job. I remember driving home and I take my tips and I put it in my bank account. And when I put the money in the bank, I realized I got the receipt and I realized that my bank balance was about where it was last year for the birthday. I had to buy new clothes because I had the same closet as last year. I stayed in the same place, drove the same car. So nothing's changed in 12 months. I could have literally gotten in a car accident and been in a coma for 12 months and woke up and everything's exactly the same. I said, there's a problem here. There's nothing to celebrate. So I made a decision that I would not celebrate my birthday until I left my job. So 2.5 years, I worked every single day on this business, and here we are.
So that night, did you go out?
Okay, I did go that night. I did go, but I was tired of it. I went reluctantly. Okay.
So you decided I'm gonna make a change, and you decided the change was going to be entrepreneurship. You weren't going to get a better job or be the manager of the Cheesecake Factory. You wanted the change to be really disruptive and then kind of shake it up a little bit.
Well, I never really wanted to be there that long because when I first started training, I was training with a girl named Kat, and I asked her, how long have you been here? And she said 3 years. This is like training. Like right. I'm in training. She's like the senior person. She says she's been there 3 years, and I judged her a little bit. I'm like, you've been working at a restaurant for 3 years? A little bit judgment. And then I woke up one day and I was there for 3.5. And then I wound up being there for 6 years. But the 3.5 years into it, I just figured I had to make some kind of change. So I started this company and just went all in.
So that company is a clothing brand?
Correct. So it started with a clothing brand, and that clothing brand allowed me to go from working at my job to being full-time. I opened a kiosk in Cumberland Mall, and that went really well. And then I started teaching. People kept asking me, how'd you leave your job? How'd you leave your job? So I started teaching how to go from your job to your dream. Then I wrote a book, which I have a book for you guys. Dreams are built overnight, so it talks about how to create a bridge from your day job to your daydream.
Mm-hmm. And then, so now, talk about the beginning of having a clothing line. So did you know, you worked at the Cheesecake Factory, so how much knowledge did you have about creating clothing lines?
Not much. I used to paint T-shirts in college.
So you were kind of graphically inclined?
Not really. My art style on the T-shirts were abstract. I just throw paint everywhere and put a word on there and call it art, like that.
You can sell it. Good for you. Right?
Yeah, absolutely. So, this is what happened. So I don't know how I came up with the name Sleep is for Suckers, but I figured if you lose sleep doing what you love, you'll eventually live the dream that you only would have dreamt. So I started selling the brand. This is really what happened. I put Sleep is for Suckers, like small logo on the back, and I had a design on the front. The design wasn't all that cool. I thought it was cool. It just, nobody bought it. But they turned the shirt around and said, oh, Sleep is for Suckers. I like that. I don't like the shirt too much, but I like the name. So I got rid of those shirts as soon as possible. And the next run of shirts, I just put Sleep is for Suckers on it real big. And I started selling the message and not the T-shirt. And I was like, if they can buy the message, It doesn't matter what the design is.
Right.
So that's how I started selling the message, and people bought into the concept and not necessarily the creative designs.
So now, take us through that process to make that a business. So now you have literally, what, a 5-word business, right? Or whatever, how many words? Sleep is for suckers.
Yeah.
2, 4 words.
That's 4.
5
3 words and a number.
Three
Yeah, the
words and a
4 is
number.
yeah.
And then you're now building a business around this.
Yep.
And then, so now you're putting it on shirts. Are you doing, like, who helped you with the, I gotta make shirts now, I gotta pay X, I gotta sell it for Y? Who's teaching
Yeah.
that? Or are you just making this up as you go along?
Just making it up as I go along. And this is why I'm so effective with teaching entrepreneurship, because I didn't learn it in college, the technical sides of it. I looked at it like
Math
this.
side?
Yeah, I just looked at it like this. You find a design, and I don't design, so what do? Find somebody who can design.
So you
Find
have a buddy.
Yeah. Find
what
somebody who can, yeah. But I ran into a young lady. I said, I want to put this on a shirt. Can you make it? She said, yeah. She does graphic design. I said, cool. So I paid her like $100 for the logo. And then I said, okay, how am I going to get shirts printed? So I went on this new website. It just came out. It's called google.com. And I typed in where to get shirts printed, like in all those words. And then these shirt printing companies came up, called them. And I said, hey, I want to make some shirts. They said, cool, come on in with the design that I got for $100. And I gave it to them. And they said, okay, this is how much it's going to be to print it. And I printed it.
So, but you needed then a bunch of money to pay for the initial run of the shirts?
Not really, it's about $300.
So $300 got
Yeah.
you some money.
Yeah,
And
save
then-
some of my
so
tips.
300 there, and then 100 for the design. $400.
Yeah.
You now have how many shirts?
I think I got, it was like, a couple dozen shirts. But, and people say they need like startup capital. I literally saved $40 out of my tips every week for 10 weeks. Like, and I think people think entrepreneurship is rocket science, and it's not.
Well, they think I got to have $1 million because they hear these stories. These
Oh,
people
yeah.
raise $10 million. So they don't understand you can do it with a few $100s.
Yeah, I looked at the numbers. It cost me $6 to print T-shirts, and I sell them for $25. I was like, wow, that's a lot of money. $19. And then you take some of the 19, you put it away for reinvestment in capital, and
Just keep growing.
just keep growing it.
Well, it sounds like, Robert, this is right up your alley here.
Totally.
On a much smaller scale.
No, I love it. It's the same concept. It's the same concept.
It's
I love it.
literally, he does exactly what you do.
Yeah.
He does.
Yeah,
Right?
no, it really is. It's exactly what. And it's funny because a lot of people do think, yeah, it's going to be a ton of money, a ton of time. It's a ton of time. It may not be a ton of money, right? In
Yeah.
fact, you might be best not spending any money.
Yeah.
Or bootstrapping it yourself. So yeah, it's there's a funny thing. Everyone thinks there's like an overnight success. You know, people call Pinterest an overnight success. Yeah, like 7 years overnight success. It's the same thing.
Yeah, absolutely.
Yeah, man.
I go into schools and I teach kids the same concept. So this is my experience as a kid. I used to rake leaves, and my dad made me do it for free. It was really like slave work because he like paid me. You know what I'm saying? He paid me in food and stuff, right? So I was
Indentured service.
exactly. So I was raking leaves, and then I looked across the street, and the lady across the street, she had leaves all over her lawn. Now I thought the leaves were pretty. I liked the colors, right? But I was like, I wonder if she doesn't like it. So I went across the street, knocked on the door, and I asked her if I could rake her leaves. And she said yes. And she said, how much are you going to charge me? I didn't know. I was like, I don't know. I make about $10 a week over with my dad. So for $10. She said, cool. And I raked the leaves and I started a little business. But this is what I teach the kids, right? Say, for instance, you're mowing lawns. You know, I'm actually coming out with a little series where the kid, he mows the lawn, right? And he looks across the street, same story, and says, hey, Miss Johnson's lawn isn't mowed. I'm gonna ask her if I can mow the lawn. So he goes across the street and says, hey, Miss Johnson, can I mow your lawn? She says, sure, $20. He says, great. He tries to start the lawnmower. He says, I don't have any gas in the lawnmower. So he asks his dad, hey, Dad, can I have a couple dollars to get some gas? He says, go get a job. And he said, I don't have a job. That's why I'm asking you for money. And he said, if you had a job, you wouldn't have to ask me for money. I'm like, yo, this is so confusing. So I'm thinking. There's a cartoon that I'm making. So the kid has this idea. I'm going to go across the street with a contract that says all of my clients, they're required to pay a 50% deposit. So you need to give me $10 before we start. He takes the $10, he goes to get the gas, comes back, puts the gas in the lawnmower, cuts the grass, comes to get the other $10. Now he's in business. He started with no money, just innovation, right? But his next goal is to get more clients. But his next goal is to find another, to save his money to buy another lawnmower. And what's he going to do with the other lawnmower?
Find another buddy that can mow 2 lawns. At the same time.
Exactly. Say, hey, you ain't doing nothing at the school anyway. I give you $15 to mow this lawn. And you got these contracts where you're making money. So it's just entrepreneurship.
Well, it's a mindset,
Mm-hmm.
and it's great that you're sharing this mindset. So now, are you finding the young people are open to this? Is this kind of life-changing for them, or is this?
Oh yeah.
I mean, because it's changing the framing of how they might see a career. Because some people think it's like you thought, I have to get a job, but you can also create your own job.
Oh, absolutely. Yeah, kids are super receptive to it. They're starting to understand that they can have an idea and make their own money. And I love teaching kids because they got an advantage because they're young. You ever seen a kid tell you a candy bar for $5? I'm like, yo, this Snicker costs 75 cents in Walmart. But you buy it. Like, here, take the $5.
I don't buy it. You can't do it.
Yeah, they get me every now and again. But they're young, and I'm teaching them how to tell the story of being young and in business. That's currency.
So now, do you still have the clothing line? Is that still going
Absolutely.
in the background? You got your book line, right? You got Dreams Are Built Overnight. That's a book you got out. You're mentoring young people, so you're building a whole kind of empire here.
Yeah, and the biggest thing I have now is a small business coaching program. It's called Sleepless Nights. Night with a K though, like nights, like I play on words.
I'm into it.
Oh, you like that? Okay. So yeah, it's called Sleepless Nights. We have a huge coaching program all across the country where small businesses just have ideas and they need help. So we do like 3 calls a week. I've been coaching since this morning, text messages, I do one-on-ones. And the testimonials, my God, there's so many testimonials of how people started in the program and now their business is rolling, or some people actually quit their job and replace their income just based on the principles of entrepreneurship, learning them.
Isn't there a corporate application for this as well? Surely what you're doing is very attractive, and I'm very enamored with everything you're saying about entrepreneurialism, and I'm particularly interested in young people, at least exploring this mindset. But there's also this idea of, even though you may work at a really large organization, having an entrepreneurial mindset in your department or individually can be very productive for the organization. Sure. Is that something you are pursuing or plan to pursue, sharing some of those ideas with even big companies, people inside big companies?
Oh, absolutely. So that's another piece of my business that I've just kind of later last year kind of started, and companies are bringing me in to teach culture because I built a movement and I have this way of getting people to work with me, not because of me, but because it helps them in their goals. So that's Brandon right there. He's my videographer. And when he met me, he said, hey, I love all your videos. I want to work with you, right? So I'm telling him the vision. He said, I'll just work for free. Now, I'm not sure how long that would last, but...
How long did it work for your dad and you in the lead?
Well played.
So what I did with Brandon is we had the conversation because obviously he wanted to work with me, but it was very important that I find out what he wanted. Like, what is your goal? What is your dream? So I found out after he told me what his goal was, I figured out a way to merge his goal into mine. So now he'll come and record me for free because he's not building my dream, he's building his. And this company that we're building together, it helps with his goals. So I teach companies how to create a culture. So a company, actually just came back from LA. The company brought me out to talk to the owners of the company because they were having communication issues, and we fixed it in a couple hours. And he brought me back out to talk to all of his staff. And so most companies that bring me, they bring me out a second time. Yep.
Good stuff. So if somebody wants to learn more, what's the best way to get a hold of you?
Follow me on Instagram. Sleep is for suckers with the number 4. Or, hey, do me a favor, go to sleepisforsuckers.com and buy some shirts. That's a cool way to get in touch with me. My email is info@davidneversleeps.com. info@davidneversleeps.com.
And is that the best way to get our hands on this book as well, or?
I brought one for you, baby. I got you.
All right, but how about our listeners, though? Because they're all execs and entrepreneurs.
Oh, absolutely, absolutely. Yeah, so you can go to Amazon. It's called Dreams Are Built Overnight. Or sleepisforsuckers.com has the book on there, or dreamsarebuiltovernight.com has the book. So yes, Dreams Are Built Overnight. It's on Amazon.
Man, what a fun conversation.
Good stuff.
Doesn't this just beat the heck out of working? Conversations like this. Hey, stay with us. We got one more guest we're going to visit with.
Absolutely.